Cash, credit, debit, and totally free. The WBBM Noon Business Hour continues.
Cable and satellite TV providers are expected to raise rates this year, with AT&T announcing an increase of just over 2%. Let's learn more from Tim Hanlon, Managing Director of the Vertere Group based in Chicago. Tim, welcome back to the program. Let's talk a little bit about the why are cable companies raising rates with so many people cutting the cord?
Well, it's a good question, Rob. I mean, I think really it's all about programming costs, and there's no mistaking that programming, especially of the live sports variety, is increasingly expensive, and those costs continue to go up. They're being charged more of the cable operators that are delivering them, and they have to pass those price increases to consumers on just about on an annual basis. That's the largest component of these price increases. But, you know, as you're alluding to, people are voting with their pocketbooks, and they are cord shaving and cord cutting, and the actual penetration numbers or the distribution numbers of these cable channels, including sports like ESPN, are actually going down. So it's a kind of a conundrum, right, for the cable operator community. They need to charge more money for what is a lessening number of subscribers.
And one way that you could beat the high cost of cable or the increasing cost of cable, it sounds like an old standby. Just call them and threaten to leave.
Well, there is that, but I think there's frankly also so many different ways to get individual channels or smaller packages of programming that are coming from not necessarily the incumbent cable operators, but from newcomers and streaming players. Right, the ability, frankly, to get your broadcast TV channels from an antenna, a good old-fashioned antenna, which is becoming much more in fancy these days, when you can literally get dozens of TV channels in crystal clear HD simply by buying an antenna, which may cost you no more than $40 or $50 with no subscription fees. So there are a lot of different options evolving, and there's so many different choices out there that, frankly, consumers have never really had until the last couple of years.
We've heard that sometimes if you say, I'm leaving you're not going to have my business anymore, that they'll give you a break, at least on part of the expense.
I think that's always a good thing from a consumer perspective to do so, but I think it's also really important to understand that consumers truly have a lot of other alternatives, especially when it comes to television and video, and they may not need to threaten necessarily their operator. They may just be able to quit them cold turkey and find just what they want for lesser prices, which is a little bit more homework.
Tim, thanks for joining us today. Tim Hanlon is Managing Director at the Vertere Group here in Chicago.